Ladies, good afternoon. Thanks for joining me, and I'm looking forward to discussing Medtech Color's 7th annual breakfast at the Medtech conference taking place up in Toronto, Canada. What is it, next month, October already. So joining me is Katrina Holland, Vanessa
Hi, how are you?
Pollard, and Abigail Epane Aswala. So ladies, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us, Joe. It's always a pleasure.
Always. And Vanessa, you and I have been at this quite a few years. I can't believe this is the 7th already.
Neither can I. It's time flies, but it's a labor of love, and we are so grateful for you, Joe, and the team at the Mullings Group for being our partners from the beginning and supporting us in so many ways in advancing both the MedTech networking breakfast and MedTech Color's broader mission.
Yep, send my love to Kwame. I miss him.
He's not gone.
I know. He's finally given up the mic to somebody else. It's been years, so finally he gave it up, so it's great. And Katrina, you're executive director at Medtech Color, and this is going to be your first breakfast. Is that right?
That is correct. I'm also looking forward to meeting everyone in Toronto. Made a lot of connections during the year, and really looking forward to seeing everything come full circle. And just really thankful for the support of the MedTech Color community, and can't wait to see what we can accomplish in the years to come.
It's always a fun breakfast. Believe me, the energy's high. And Abigail, you're Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer in HR Strategic Initiatives at GE Healthcare, and you've got the honor of delivering the keynote this year as well.
Yes, I do. I will say just honored and humbled to address the MedTech Color community as the 2024 keynote speaker. So really looking forward to it.
And you're joining a great alumnus of great messaging that's taken place over the years. As you think about that keynote, without releasing too many details, what is it that you hope to convey at the keynote session?
Look, I'm excited. I'm excited to join. I'm excited to share our journey, our challenges, and successes in advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion at GE Healthcare. It's also a chance, I think, to really just connect with MedTech industry leaders and colleagues who are equally passionate about driving meaningful change in their organizations, and to really inspire them, hopefully, with actionable insights that might be helpful to them. And lastly, I'll say I'm really looking forward to engaging in conversations that can really spark ideas, new ideas, collaborations, and ultimately contributing to a more inclusive future for everyone.
There's a word you used in there that I loved you used is the challenges, right? So it's easy to give advice, and advice, like, that's great. But as somebody's looking to create and expand their diversity and inclusion initiatives in their organization, big or small, what are the challenges that they need to be prepared for? But obviously that's advice, but the challenges, like if you could sit on their shoulder and said, here's what you're gonna face, and this is what you gotta grind through.
Look, I would say that it's important to come from a place of humility and really willingness to embrace, honestly, a growth mindset, because I think every day you walk into this role, there's something new. To your point, I mean, there's attack on DI in the industry, et cetera. But starting from truly listening to the diverse voices within and outside your organizations and being open to learning from them, building relationships with people from really different backgrounds and gaining different perspectives. And I would say that being intentional about creating spaces where everyone feels encouraged to contribute, is valued, and is heard is really important. Leading by example, making inclusion a core part of your leadership style and decision-making process, I would say it's another big one. And I think lastly, what I'll add is be persistent and courageous in advocating for change, understanding the fostering a culture of inclusion and belonging is it's really a continuous journey and requires dedication. And it's not an easy one, but it's one that's necessary for our community. So just really looking forward to that.
And you leading that initiative in such a large global organization like GE Healthcare, um, what hits you every day as either you get started or you're walking to the parking lot in your car? What is it that really, like, almost every day resonates with you in that responsible role that you have?
As I reflect on, just thinking about the organization Medtech Color and the mission to increase representation of Black, Hispanic individuals in medtech industry, I think about our organization, our purpose to create a world where healthcare has no limits. For me, that drives me every single day, coming in and thinking about what can I do, what role can I play to advance that mission, particularly for our organization. I will say diversity, equity, and inclusion is core to our business strategy. I would say that for me, just making sure that whatever it is that we're doing to drive the agenda around DEI, that we are really intentional in what that work is, and not lose sight of the purpose that we're trying to drive versus the noise that's out there. Because quite honestly, there's noise every single day.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and it's becoming louder and louder. And fortunately, we've got people who are keeping us focused, and it's usually the fringe and the small voices that are causing the issue, instead of staying right down the middle where the strength is. You mentioned something, and Vanessa, I want to ask you about this. We've also got a panel where we're talking about best practices for incorporating diverse patient perspectives and patient-centered design and regulatory decision making. So that's a lot of words. Unpack that for me. What are we getting at there?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this panel, and I think it connects perfectly with Abigail's point about the fact that for a lot of med tech companies, hopefully all of them, diversity, equity, inclusion is a business initiative. And that's because the patients who rely on medical devices for diagnosis and for treatment reflect all the kinds of diversity, right, that we recognize and know about in the world. And so the premise of this panel is really unpacking and examining regulatory policy, R&D activities that are really focused on looking at ways to generate more insights from patients about their experience with medical devices throughout the life cycle, really effective strategies to make sure that the data that we get on how patients are using devices, how they're being developed, their experience with those products is inclusive and reflective of diverse patient populations. And the panel that we have is just amazing. We have Dr. Michelle Tarver, who's the acting director of FDA Center for Devices and Radiological Health. We have Jamie Wheeler, who's the SVP of Global Clinical Affairs at Edwards Life Sciences. And we have Gabriella Kainer, who is Chief Strategy Officer at Olympus. So we have some of the foremost thought leaders in this space. I'll be moderating the panel, and it really brings together so much of what MedTech Color strategy is about.
I always look forward to your moderation of panels because you don't throw any softballs out there. That's what I really love, right? You absolutely ask the questions that everybody's dying to hear, and sometimes people don't have the courage to do so. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. And certainly, as you know, we conduct these clinical trials by design in the most opportune, controlled environment, yet we release these devices out where we have such disparity in socioeconomic and even got all kinds of diverse situations we're in. And they don't always line up for the outcomes to be optimal.
Yeah, I think what we are now recognizing, I think industry's recognizing it, the regulators are recognizing it, is that diversity, equity, inclusion in medical device design and development is a safety issue. It's a quality issue. It's a performance issue. It's not a nice to have. It has to become a strategic imperative for everybody. I think some of the things that regulators like FDA is doing with clinical trial diversity plans and mandating that companies think about this is really going a long way to making this a priority. But part of Medtech Color's mission is to be a convener around these issues and to start to not only ask the tough questions, but to be a part of providing and helping to drive solutions.
Super important for sure. Katrina, the Medtech Color Pitch Competition also takes place, and that's always a fascinating and a peek behind the curtain on these emerging technologies. Share with the audience a bit about that.
So we have an annual pitch competition, I believe, which we've hosted for the last 4 years or so. And to date, we've had over 400 applicants who are African American, Hispanic founders. And we fund at the seed and Series A stage. To date, we've given away over $1 million in non-dilutive funding. And we're really happy with how the founders have been supported and what we've been able to accomplish with respect to really building up a place for C-suite executives of color to have some visibility, but also to add to some of the solutions that we really need in terms of a lot of the unmet needs in healthcare. And so our pitch competition is a little different than your standard pitch. We like to offer in-kind support as well as the financial support piece. And so we work with corporations, nonprofits, and others who can donate in-kind services to really help support the success of the founders, whether that's consulting advice on the legal side, on the regulatory side, or getting their product out to market. And so we're excited about the community that we've built, and we look forward to continuing to support those founders and also attracting additional founders so that we can grow that pipeline.
And that feeds in beautifully to our last point, is the Medtech color collaborative community, right? That entire sort of ecosystem in itself. Vanessa, do you want to comment on that and its power within the organization? And Katrina, if you can add to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Medtech Colors collaborative community is one of a number of collaborative communities that are supported by FDA Center for Devices and Radiological Health. And these initiatives are geared towards solving problems that FDA as a regulator cares about, but also leveraging all of the sort of brainpower, resources, ideas of these public and private entities that are come together around an idea. So Medtech Colors Collaborative Community is focused on how to drive more diversity, equity, and inclusion in clinical trials for medical devices, as well as medical device development. We've been around for, I think it's 3.5, although it feels like much longer years. And we have members of FDA, we have CMS, we have NIH representatives sitting within that collaborative, along with industry and patients. And one of our big projects that we're focused on this year is Project Convene, where we are going to do a series of multi-year focus groups with different stakeholders in the ecosystem, medical device manufacturers, different representatives from government, and then patient groups, where we're focused on developing white papers, guidance, concrete strategies for how we can get more diverse patients and clinical investigators participating in medical device trials, understanding what are some of the barriers to entry and access, and then taking those learnings from those focus groups and starting to put together some guidance, some solutions that we can put out to the ecosystem. So that project is ramping up at the end of the year. But what I love about the collaborative community is that it's an all-volunteer group of people who are just really committed to the idea that the devices that are commercialized and in the market should be developed with a diverse and inclusive lens at every stage of the life cycle.
And all of these events are taking place, of course, this is a reminder, on Tuesday, October 15th from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. at the Medtech Color Breakfast. And that's up in Toronto, Canada. And then as far as Medtech Color membership, I know we'll be able to put the information at the bottom of the screen here before we sort of wrap up. But Katrina, any insights you can share on membership for Medtech Color?
Sure. And this is a push that we're really going to make at the networking reception this year. We want to encourage people to join Medtech Color. I think this networking breakfast has been successful and has grown over time. And that is an indicator that there's a lot of support and a real community and a movement behind what Medtech Color is seeking to accomplish. And so our membership is $250 a year for professional membership. And with that, you get access to a community of like-minded individuals who, care about the same things you do. And so as we kind of look into the future of Medtech Color as an organization, we really hope to create, an environment where folks can engage with the organization all throughout the year. And see each other at the breakfast once a year, but also engage with Medtech Color and different events and opportunities that we have. We also are looking forward to launching our job board, which should be coming in the next 30 days, and also updating our website. And so there's some operational enhancements that we're excited to unveil at the breakfast, and just looking forward to keeping all the love, all the support, and all the good vibes going.
Excellent. Well, I do appreciate everybody's time. Abigail, no pressure, but I'll be sitting up front watching the keynote. And Vanessa and Katrina, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Joe Mullings from 160 Studios. Be well.